guys, it's Baconton, back at it again, and today we have a very special video. You saw in our previous video where we did the skillet cookie, it was more of a test run to see if Derek could take instruction, which Derek likes to be in charge a lot, so he doesn't always take instruction very well, but he did. He passed with flying colors, so today we'll be doing another cooking video together. And I haven't quite told you yet what we're making, but I thought this would be really fun, since you really like cherry pie. We would try and make a cherry pie from scratch, but I hurt my hand, so I won't actually be doing anything except for instructing. This will be a real good test of our relationship, and if we can, like, work together, because I'm going to be instructing you on everything, but I will not actually be assisting with anything you are doing. This is purely up to you. Let's see how good of a teacher I am, and let's see how good of a doer you are. How do you feel? Are you nervous?
A little bit nervous. To make a crust and the filling and everything else, it sounds like a big undertaking.
It is. It's going to be a big undertaking, and I'm going to cheat a little bit since this is your first actual recipe. What we're going to do is you're just going to make the crust today. We're going to start off nice and easy. You're just going to make the crust, well, easy, I say. Typically the crust is, in my opinion, the hardest part of making a pie. A good pie needs a good crust, depending on the kind of pie you're making. The crust varies, but today you're just going to make crust. I bought some store-bought cherry pie filling since I know you like the bright, fluorescent red cherry pie filling. So we're going to be doing that. And, hopefully it goes well. All right, let's get to it. All right, so a little programming note. Derek is typically my cameraman extraordinaire. If you like all the angles and shots and the way everything looks, just know it is solely his doing. I don't even know which end of a camera takes the actual picture. But since you are going to be helping me today, is no one to do any actual B-roll. So we've got the camera here, don't mind that, but that will be our camera for the day to do any inserts of actual things happening, okay? So I need flour, butter, sugar, salt, and a glass of ice water.
All right, let me go grab all that and we can measure it out.
Sweet. All right, now we got everything. Thank you so much for gathering it all. My poor hand is hurt. But couple programming notes. When you make pastry, you want your butter especially to be nice and cold. That's why we need ice water. So we're actually gonna put the butter back in the fridge until we absolutely need it. I'll do that for you. Ah, my hand.
It's cold for your hand.
But in the meantime, I need you to measure out, let's see, if we're making did you want lattice or a regular topping?
Let's do lattice.
Lattice, okay. So if we're doing a lattice, we will need, the pastry's gonna be about the same, which is not how much we use. So if we're doing a lattice and we're doing the bottom crust, I'll need 2.5 cups of flour.
Okay.
I will need 2 tablespoons of sugar. I will need a teaspoon of salt and all of that butter.
Okay.
Okay? Great. We'll be back in just a minute.
To make to add the ingredients in, I added 2.5 cups flour, 2 tablespoons worth of sugar. I added a teaspoon of salt and then 2 sticks of butter, which makes a cup of butter. And then it was very cold, and then I sliced it down lengthwise into these little tiny sections that you see here. All right, so I have a pile of ingredients here. What do I do?
Okay, so now we gotta work fairly quickly because as we speak, the butter is getting warmer and we don't want that. We want our butter to be nice and hard so that way it creates layers in your pastry when it melts, and then the water, because there is water in butter, evaporates into steam that creates the nice flaky layers. So typically you use a pastry cutter. However, I have been to baking school, I have done all the things. I don't like pastry cutters for some reason. I think they're cumbersome, they get gross and stuck in things. So I like to use a pair of forks or a pair of knives, depending on how I'm feeling. So 2 forks, you're gonna use these to kind of mash the butter up and kind of squish them, kind of squish the butter into pieces. You can be rough with it. Feel free to just smush those pieces of butter together on the bowl and kind of break it up. You don't need to you're not pulling it like pulled pork, you're more like mashing it like potatoes.
Okay.
And we're gonna try to get pea-sized bits of butter. Or roughly pea-sized. If they're a little bit bigger, that's fine, but not too much bigger, or else you're gonna get gaps in your pastry and it's gonna be kind of greasy because the butter's gonna all leak out. I'm loving this. We should do this more often. And this goes in tandem with the ice water. The reason you want your ice water instead of regular water is because you need something really cold to keep the butter from melting. As we speak, as it's out of the fridge, as we roll it out, the butter's gonna start heating up, so we wanna make sure everything is nice and chilled. Okay, baby, you want some? Do a little soda break. There you go. So now it's time to add the water. So we got our ice water here. You can just set those down actually. Just set those down. Take this and add a couple tablespoons to start, maybe like 5 or so, because I have to do a lot of math in my head because my typical recipe is for half this amount of dough and just make like a tart is mostly what I do. So I do 4 tablespoons, then I just add a little more as necessary.
So 5 in there.
5 is in there. Now take the forks and kind of mix it all together. Not like dough, not like you're mixing pancake batter, but kind of like toss it around. You don't want to work this too much. The more you work your dough, we want to keep it nice and loose. Not loose as in like crumbly, but we don't want to overwork it like we're kneading bread dough because it'll make the gluten stronger and it'll make our dough tough. So now it's come together. Stop. It's come together. Sort of. It's still very dry, so we're going to add like maybe 2 more tablespoons of water. And now it's time to get your hands in. So, what you're going to want to do, as best you can, kind of start from the edge with one hand, kind of scoop it around, and kind of just roughly, not like mash it with your hands, lightly, gently, toss it all together. Like you're stirring something very delicate. We don't want to mash it with our hands because our hands are very hot. Is it coming together? It's still very dry, so add another couple tablespoons of water. Just get it. This is so messy. Ah, you're getting it all over the water. Oh, this is stressing me out. It'll be fine. Whatever we come up with is what we come up with. Okay, we think we need more water. So just start. Just grab it. Yeah. But better. As you can see, it's starting to come together.
It's definitely starting.
Okay, yeah, well, we need a little bit more water. I'm glad we got a nice big cup of water so we didn't have to wait for it to chill more water. Alternatively, you could just have this recipe and we could have just done 2 batches of a half recipe and it might have gone a little bit faster. Although I doubt it, really. We're getting there. Maybe a little, just a hair more water. Okay, tell us how you really feel. Just smack the cup over next time, why don't you?
It's a lot of work for something they sell for like $2.99.
I know, baby, but like, it tastes much better than store-bought pastry, that's for sure.
What do you think? Is it coming together?
It is coming together. Oh, as I say, yeah, it looked great. Just a ton of flour just fell out the bottom. So just grab the cup. Maybe yeah, that should be fine. Now, work on incorporating all that dry stuff as best we can. I have no idea how this is going to turn out because I'm not doing it, but this is trust. Marriage is about trust, and I trust that whatever we have will be edible. I'm also just a little concerned with the amount of salt we added because, you know, half a teaspoon of salt for a half a batch of pastry sounds about right. So a full teaspoon of salt would be fine. I think this will be fine. I'm really bad about salting my food. I don't do it. I mean, I do salt my food, but I'm told that I don't use enough because salt is bad for you. All right, that looks like pastry. So, before you mash it any further, I'm gonna grab my hand. I'm just joking. I'm gonna grab the plastic wrap and we're gonna wrap this up in some plastic or put it in a big bag, whatever have you. And we're gonna let this chill in the fridge for an hour to firm up that butter and let the gluten relax. got you a pie plate. Now, we're gonna roll the dough out. We're gonna split it in half, roll it out. One half's gonna be for the topping, one half's gonna be for the bottom. So I'll go and grab the dough.
I'll grab the dough.
Thank you.
You stay right here.
With my good hand, sprinkle some flour down. Put the dough down. I'll take that.
Sticky.
It's sticky? Oh, here. Now it won't be. Just cut this in half as best we can. And we'll use this for later. What I would do is toss the other side, the sticky side that you're currently trying to roll out in flour. Since we made this pastry very sticky. And now you can try rolling it out. And the key for pastry, at least what I find, is keeping it moving. So every few rolls, flip it over. And dust some more flour if you need to. Because again, we made this pastry super wet.
Just a little bit more right here.
And you want to try and get it into a roughly circular shape. But if it's not perfectly circular, we can always trim it. And you want to try to get it as even as you can. See all the bits of butter in the pastry because we didn't completely mangle it into oblivion? This is what we want. See, it's getting kind of wide, so try going a different direction with the rolling pin. Here, try a little sprinkle more. It's like a heart. Oh, my baby made a heart. I love you.
Too.
Alright, let's see how that fits. Let's do a little preliminary test, see how it fits. Not great.
Stretch it.
We don't want to stretch it because short crust pastry shrinks when you bake it, so it has to be like overlap. It has to have lots of room because it will shrink as we bake it. So rather, I think what we will do is take the knife and kind of cut. We'll cut this piece off here. Oh, it's stretching, which I don't love, but that's fine. Don't do anything with that, just put it down. Put this back in the pan, and we're gonna try and piece it together. We don't typically want to do this, but again, first time making pastry. Again, don't stretch the pastry. If it's not, we can trim the edges that overlap if need be. Gonna just squish them onto the edge like that. Here, take the knife, and like a jigsaw puzzle, just kind of try and make it fit.
Fits.
All right, trim the edges. And I think maybe put some right there. That should be good. Any other spots? And then what we're gonna do now is just leave it as is, and we're gonna roll the other part out. So I'll take this away, even though I have a hurt hand. Now, it doesn't matter too much. I would try and roll this into more of a rectangle shape, though, this time, because we're going to need to cut some strips for the lattice, since you wanted to do a lattice crust. Very brave of you, I must say.
Why?
Because they're typically a little trickier than just rolling a big piece of a little circle out and plopping it on top. But if you're feeling adventurous, then so be it.
How's this?
It's looking good. Maybe make it a little bit thinner on the left side. That's good. Now what we're gonna do, we don't have to flip it, just cut some strips out. Try and make them as even as you can, like as maybe like about that thick. Yeah. Good. Aren't you just a natural at this part? Very good. While we're doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the filling. I've never used canned pie filling it before. Oh, I feel like I should have probably bought another one. This is not gonna be enough. It'll just be a thin pie. It'll be like a medieval pie. One of those like thin pies that use like hot water and flour and that's it. Right. Ugh. Now, what you're gonna want to do is, grab a shorter one, lay it across this way. Don't mash them down yet because you have to move them. No, it's fine. Just keep one end. Now grab another one and just kind of lay like 3 strips across. All right. Now, grab, how should we do this? Pull these 2 back. Yep, like that. No, sorry, the outer 2. No, both the same direction.
Just explain that then.
Okay, I'll explain better. Now grab 1 strip and lay it horizontally across, right up to the edge where you folded it. Yep. Trying not to stretch it. Now pull those 2 back across it. Yep. Probably shouldn't have used that one for the edge, but it's fine. It'll be fine. Now, we'll repeat the process. Pull the middle one back. Lay another one across. Nice. Pull it, lay it back down. Perfect. And repeat the process. Pull the 2 outer back. Another piece. Now, put them back over. Do you think we should put another one down?
I have a short one.
All right. So
Why don't we just put this one, lay it like that.
alrighty. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you take the knife and trim the edges so that way they're all nice and squared up. Now, we're going to grab the edges and kind of just like pinch and roll them around a little bit. Not like a ton. If there's no edge, then just don't do it, but want to make sure that everything's connected.
Okay.
So like make sure nothing's overhanging the edge like this, because if it's doing this, it's going to leak and burn on the oven. Nice, like that.
Alright, we should be good.
All right, and now this is where you would egg wash it or glaze it or whatever, but I think this is, are we gonna do any of that? Did you want to do that? No,
I think we can just put it in.
All right, we're gonna put this in the oven once it's preheated for 40 to 45 minutes until the top is nice and brown.
Alright, we'll come back when it's all ready.
And we're back. It's been about 45 minutes. I probably needed another 5 minutes or so. If that's the case and you find your edges are a bit brown, just put a bit of tin foil around the edges and it should help keep them from getting too dark while the center gets cooked. And despite our best efforts, if you want to grab, let me, where's the...
One moment.
Don't worry, I'll get it, even though I've got a hurt hand. Despite our best efforts, I think because we didn't glaze the top looks a bit anemic, but I can assure you it is fully cooked. It's jiggly, it's set, it's puffed up a lot more than I thought it would, so I'm surprised.
Maybe one can is enough.
I mean, I would definitely do at least 1.5 or 2 little cans or something, but I think it looks pretty good. What about you?
I do too.
Very hot.
I guess let's wait and cut it later.
Be so careful. It is just come out of a 375 degree oven. It's gonna be very, very, very hot. Here, I'll take that. Ooh, be careful. Oh, be careful. Oh, be careful. Oh, it's gonna be so hot. 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 You're gonna burn yourself hot. Did you drop it?
The cherry fell off. It's hot, but it's quite tasty.
It is hot. Baby, the pastry tastes so good.
I consider it a success for sure.
Like, oh my gosh, like genuinely, it's flaky. Yeah, you see that? Here, let me pull the crust off a little bit. It's flaky, it's got some layers to it. I'm totally ripping this pie apart, I'm so sorry. But, I gotta dissect this. Look at this. Look at those layers.
Probably if you want them to look at it.
Sorry. Look at those layers. This is spectacular. You did so well, baby.
Thank you. Well, I think that's all we have. Oh God.
Oh, baby.
Turn our garden for that other way. I think that's all we have for today. But next time, I don't know what I'm cooking, but I'm excited to cook whatever it is again. If it's like this, hopefully it comes out well.
I hope so too. If this was anything to go by, it's gonna be just fine. You're gonna do great. Maybe I should just take a back seat and you should do the cooking from now on. But until then, if you did enjoy this video, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let us know in the comment section what you thought of this recipe, what you thought of this video, this format, and if you have any suggestions for things you want to see Derek make, or me coach Derek through rather, feel free to let us know down below. Now, see you guys later. Peace.